Hi, it's me again. I'm sitting here in my room in Olney, Maryland with a bouquet of flowers from my friend Ria Dejani in Hamburg, Germany, and a bag of Hershey eggs, which I just finished. I need to get more. And my coffee. It's okay, it's just coffee. Um, and that must mean that another year has gone by. It's time for Hershey eggs and flowers again. It's my second year cancer anniversary, and I just wanted to post an update on how it's going. The cancer seems to be going really well. I mean, the lack of cancer is going really well. Um, just had all kinds of tests for the 2-year anniversary, mammograms and MRIs and blood tests and physical exams, and so far so good. Nobody can find any cancer cells in there, so that means I'm still in remission, and that's the best possible news. So yay. I found out last night there's a Buddhist woman in Singapore who's been praying for me, and that's really cool. Somebody that John knows through work, and it's cool to think of her over there. Thank you. Um, it's been a really good year. I almost made my oncologist cry this week when I said thank you to him for, you know, getting me all this extra time. We did a lot of stuff this year. We traveled a lot. We went to London. We went to South Africa. We went to Paris. We went to Missoula and to Oregon to see my mother-in-law. And it was just a busy, good year. And we saw a lot of people and we connected with a lot of people. Um, I learned to play the guitar. I've painted a lot. Just a couple days ago, my oldest son got accepted into his first choice college, the University of Toronto, and that was awesome. So it was a really good year to be here. And as I told my doctor, and I think this is what got to him, my mom died in January, as you know if you've been following this blog, and I was really glad to be here for that. All my siblings were here for that, including my brother who also has cancer, and me. And we'd have been in big trouble if any of us had tried to die before her. That would have been really bad form, and we made it. Nobody died before her, so that was good. Um, but it was a good year to be here. And my family has sort of asked me to keep their names out of this blog as much as I can. There was some discomfort with how much I said about my youngest son's mental health issues. He has anxiety disorder. And they pretty much asked me not to talk about them in this blog, and that's fair enough. But on the other hand, I have people writing to me and talking to me and saying, you should be talking more about how cancer will mess up your marriage, or you should be talking more about how cancer will affect your older children. And those are the specific things I've been asked by my family to not talk about. So I'm going to try to not talk about it. It's hard because a family is like a living thing, and if part of it gets cancer, it all goes wacky, at least temporarily. So, but I'm going to do my best to honor their wishes. If there's drama going on, and there hasn't been a lot, but there's been some, I'm going to try to keep them out of it. However, I feel free to talk about my mom. She's not here to defend herself, and if she were, she would say go for it. She wouldn't care. So I feel comfortable with that. As it turned out, my mom died of cancer. And at the time she got sick, well, she started being sick in September, really. She went in the hospital at the beginning of December, I think, the first time. We didn't think she had cancer. We didn't know that till just a couple days before she died. She had shingles. We knew that. She was 88 years old. She ended up having a blood infection, which we thought was caused by blood clots in her intestines, and it was the blood infection that killed her. However, the hospice doctor explained to me that the reason there were blood clots in there was probably that she had cancer. And actually, about 3 days before she died, they found metastasized cancer in her lungs. Where it had metastasized from, we don't know. But that is probably what happened. And from my point of view, this was sobering to watch your mom die of cancer while you have cancer. You're supposed to be thinking of the other person. You end up thinking too much about yourself. And, oh, gee, what would I do if I were in her position? She made a lot of decisions. She was calling the shots right till the end. And I'm not sure I would have made all the same choices she did. She repeatedly chose to forego pain medication so she could have extra time for lucid conversation with people she loved. I'm not sure I would have made those same choices. I'm not sure I would have still been there, frankly. And going through that made me think, oh, I'm going to have to really spend time figuring out what exactly I would and wouldn't want if, God forbid, I was in that position. I have seen people die before. I've never seen anybody in that kind of pain before. And I've never seen anybody look that scared before, as my mom did a few times there. And she was not afraid of dying. She was a Christian lady, but the process itself was miserable. And that was hard to watch, thinking, I could be going down that same road someday. It made me also think about the way cancer is treated in this country. The fact that hers wasn't even diagnosed floored me. I know my sister and my mom tried to get their concerns heard by many doctors. My mom was hospitalized more than once, and they kept telling her she had shingles, and that's why she was in so much pain. Take these pain drugs, stop bothering us. And that's pretty much what my mom did. She took a lot of pain drugs. The pain didn't get better. And we kept thinking, should shingles be doing this? Should shingles go on this long? Should it be this bad? And I don't know if the problem was that she got sick in rural Montana, whereas I was fortunate enough to get sick in Washington, D.C., where we have the National Institutes of Health and all the best cancer doctors in the world at our fingertips. My mom didn't have that. And they tried. They went to different hospitals, different doctors, but nobody got it. Now I'm sitting here thinking, wow, they did all those tests on my mom and they didn't find out what was going on. Oh, I wonder if all these tests they're doing on me, if they're looking for the right stuff or they're looking hard enough. It makes you think that. But mostly it made me mad for my mom. The other thought I had was that I got sick when I was 49 years old, and my mom got sick when she was 88 years old. And to some degree, in this country at least, the attitude seems to be, among some medical people, that when you're old, you have aches and pains. Things hurt. If we can make it stop hurting long enough to shut you up and have you go away and stop bothering us, that's what we're going to do. And they didn't really explore why my mom was having this pain. It wasn't shingles. It was cancer. And that pisses me off. And so if any of you are old ladies or taking care of old ladies or old geezers, be aware that they get blown off more than young people in this country. This whole thing also made me think about God. My friend said, you're going to get pissed off at God at some point. I wasn't so much pissed off at God as, I just don't understand what he's thinking. And I kept coming back to the verse in the book of Isaiah in chapter 55, which was actually our verse for last week at church, where God says, my ways are much higher than your ways, and my thoughts are not your thoughts, and like the heavens are high above the earth, my thoughts are above your thoughts. And that's pretty much how it seems to me. I got to the point where I was thinking, if that were my child in that bed and I could stop the suffering and I didn't, they would have me up for child abuse. But that's God's child lying in that bed. and she's still suffering, and what does that mean? And in the end, I decided I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean God's not there, but it means I don't get it. And that's okay. But if God is going to be so unknowable, why am I spending so much time and energy trying to know him? I'm still wrestling with that one, and that's going to alarm some people to hear, I'm sure, but there you go. That's where I'm at. There is good news, too. I mean, obviously something was going on. People, when I think of divine intervention, to me it came in the form of the people that showed up that week when we were sitting in my mom's hospital room. People that were supposed to be in Seattle walked in the door. One person I thought was dead walked through the door. People kept showing up, and so given the miraculous way that sort of worked out, I'm not saying there is no God or that God wasn't there or God wasn't involved. It's just that I don't get it, what he was thinking. That's all. It wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't get inappropriate at some point, so here I go. My last update, I think, was after I had my last reconstructive surgery, which involved a skin graft, and they took a bunch of skin, they did some origami with it, they made a nipple, and they stuck it on the other side. And it went really well, but they deliberately made the thing too darn big because they're supposed to shrink as time goes by. Well, I had my checkup with my plastic surgeon again this week, and the nurse unwraps it. It was still all bandaged up. She's like, "Whoa, that's big." I said, "Well, you told me it was supposed to be too big." "Oh, but that's really big." So she left the room, and then the surgeon came in, and the surgeon says, "So, where's this giant nipple I'm hearing about?" I'm like, "It's right here, actually." So I showed it to her, and she says, "Whoa, that's really big." I said, "That's what your nurse just said." She said, "No, that's really big. That's what we call a troll penis. It looks like a troll's penis." It's like, "Yes, I get that. It's right there. What are we going to do about it?" She's like, "Oh, we're going to trim that nipple. Don't worry. We're going to trim that nipple." And I was like, "Okay, stop. Stop saying the words trim and nipple together like that because it creeps me out. It makes my skin crawl." So she's laughing. She's like, "Okay, you don't like the word trim. How about we circumcise it instead?" That woman is twisted. I really like her. So that's the next thing we're doing. Well, the next thing we're doing is a tattoo, and then we're going to circumcise that puppy, and then maybe we'll be done for a while with all the surgery stuff. The tamoxifen keeps going. That's giving me arthritis. That's the other thing that's sucked lately. And we just tried to deal with that because the tamoxifen is also keeping the cancer from coming back. So we're going to keep taking that as long as we can handle it. Other than that, we're rolling right along. Thank you for paying attention to this blog all these 2 years. Thank you for your prayers and your friendship, and hope to see you again. All right, bye.